Well, let me ask you this. Are you aware of whether Mr. Kendrick wrote any of those lyrics that were played in the courtroom earlier?
No, I'm not aware.
So you don't know if my client was even involved in writing those lyrics.
I never said he did.
And you're not aware of Mr. Kendrick in any way, shape, or form being tied to or involved in the murder of Donovan Thomas. Isn't that true?
I know he was arrested and charged or a suspect for it.
Were his fingerprints found anywhere?
I didn't work the homicide portion of that. You would have to refer to.
You don't know if his fingerprints.
I didn't get into the homicide investigation.
You don't know if his fingerprints were found on the Tahoe or any evidence in the case?
No.
You don't know if his DNA was found?
No.
You don't know if any ballistics were found that were tied to Mr. Kendrick, correct?
No.
In fact, you're not aware of any eyewitnesses who saw Mr. Kendrick commit that crime, correct?
I don't know of any.
And you went to great lengths to give an expert opinion about what the state refers to as exhibit, I believe, exhibit 535YB, which is the song called Slime. And I apologize, I may be less genteel than Mr. Steele is, but it's a piece of evidence. The song's actual name is Slime Shit. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And you stated earlier you don't know the date that song was released, right?
No, I only see the date that it was uploaded to YouTube, like I told Mr. Steele.
You don't know the date it was written?
I don't.
You don't know who wrote the lyrics?
I don't.
And so if that song, if I told you that track was released officially on September 16th of 2015, and that...
Sustained.
I'll withdraw the question. If, hypothetically, if those lyrics were released in 2014, before the murder of Donovan Thomas, then wouldn't it be fair to say that the Tahoe mentioned in the song had nothing to do with Mr. Thomas's murder, right?
That would be fair.
You're not suggesting that whoever wrote the lyrics was psychic and predicted the murder of Donovan Thomas, right?
I did not say that.
Okay. Thank you. I have no other questions.
All right, are there other defense attorneys with questions for this witness? Come on up.
Good afternoon, former agent?
No, I'm actually a retired investigator, but I was a former task force officer.
Retired investigator. Okay, retired investigator Underwood. My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay?
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good.
All right, good. First of all, I just want to get one thing out of the way. And I know you were answering a question. You brought up some Atlantic Station incident. That has nothing to do with this case, correct?
No, it has nothing to do with this case.
Okay.
It was just referencing gang violence.
Okay, cool. You, in preparation, you knew you were going to be testifying eventually, and you provided a CV.
I did.
To the state, correct?
I did. It's probably been a while though, because I might have updated it since I did my Daubert, maybe.
Okay. Yes, I understand. On Friday, when the state was asking about some of your background experiences, you were asked, have you received training on how gangs use music to promote violence? And you answered yes.
I have.
Okay, could you tell me the name of that class and who taught it and when that occurred?
I have attended like the Georgia Gang Investigation Association training where, and I can't remember the name of the individual. I know Marissa Viverito has taught one at APD. But when I went to the GGIA one, I can't remember the name of the instructor, but I've had like at least 2 or 3 classes.
So Marissa Viverito is someone who worked for the DA's office in Fulton County, correct?
She used to.
And and she's also worked for the state of Georgia, correct?
Yes.
And you know her to be on the witness list for this case, correct? Okay, so she taught that class.
She taught one of them.
Okay.
I've been to more than one.
Well, who specifically talked about how gangs use music? What individual, what professor, or was it an artist that talked about that? Who was it?
It wasn't a professor, it was law enforcement.
Oh, law enforcement. And who was the law enforcement?
The one that I do remember recently was Marissa. She taught one at APD.
All right, Marissa Viverito, who used to work for the DA's office. Okay. So there was no one from the music industry, no artists or anything there. Okay.
No.
How gangs, you were asked if you had training in how gangs use music to promote fear in other gangs. Again, who were the musicians or anyone that spoke to you about that?
No musicians.
Okay.
The classes that I've taken have been all from law enforcement when it came to gangs. My other classes at Columbia Southern were professors, but they didn't talk about gangs. Okay.
And how gangs use music to promote fear in other gangs. What date was that? Who taught you about that?
I told you what class. I don't remember the instructor on one of them, but I do. Like I said, the most recent one at APD within the last 3 years. It might have been while she was still here. She taught that one. That's the one that stands out. But I did go to one down in South Fulton as well, but it was like a GGIA training.
You were asked how gangs use. You were asked about your training or education and how gangs use music to promote cohesiveness. Who taught that class? Is that the same answer?
It would be the same, yes.
Okay, so no one from the music industry, and it seems like
every class was law enforcement.
And the one that you're speaking of is Investigator Viverito, who's on the state's witness list for this case.
That's one of them.
Okay. And the same answer would be for your experience when the state asked you how gang members use music to send messages to rival gangs. Would those be your same answers?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then you were asked by the state here, among other things, to talk about lyrics in this case, and you've been speaking about specific lyrics.
Yes.
Okay, in that Bad Boy video, you didn't recognize the other artist?
No.
You
I don't
ever
know
hear-
who that is.
You ever hear Juice WRLD?
I've heard of it, but that's not anybody that came on the radar because he haven't probably committed a crime here in Atlanta.
Okay. So as I understand it, in preparation of this testimony, and correct me if I get the timing wrong, sometime last week, the state gave you some music videos to review or some songs to review.
Yes.
Okay. How many?
The 3.
Okay. It was just those 3.
Just these 3.
Okay. And they were all songs by Jeffery Williams.
Yes.
Okay. Did they not ask you to review a song called Homicide, written and performed by Lil Woody featuring Fagiano?
Never heard of it, no.
Have you ever watched that video?
I haven't.
Okay. Are you aware of this song?
No.
You aware that in that music video, in that song, Woody talks about putting money on someone else's head?
Not aware.
Are you aware that the person he talks about putting money on their head is a heavy-set African-American male?
Not aware of that.
Are you aware that the person he conspires with in that video to kill the heavy-set African-American male is Trevante Turner?
And I'm saying objection vague as to, are you talking about what happened in the video?
Yes.
This video? So
I haven't seen the video.
Okay, so you're not aware that Trevante Turner played the role of the hitman in Woody's video where
I haven't seen that video.
he depicts killing a heavy-set African-American male. Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
All right, are there any other defense counsel questions? No. All right, is there redirect? Go ahead.
Mr. Steele asked you when he was questioning you if any of these lyrics mention Donovan Thomas Jr.'s name inside of those songs. You recall
I
that line
recall
of
that question.
When you're listening to songs that may become a part of your investigation, do the ops usually say specifically the person's name, or is it more of a hidden message? What has been your experience when you're listening to the music that comes a part of your investigation?
My experience is not directly, saying the person's name is like sending a message, but like if that particular person or that person's group or person's gang know that I committed a crime or know that we have beef, then a lot of times they know it's obvious who they're sending the message to.
And when we say it's obvious, is it obvious to the opposition gang who the message is being targeted? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Mr. Shard asked you about whether or not anyone from the music industry came and taught your class. Do you remember him asking you a series of questions about that?
Yes.
The classes that you took, were they focused on music or focused on gangs?
Focused on gangs.
And have you ever had anyone from the music industry come and talk to you about gangs?
No.
Court's indulgence.
All right, any recross by anybody? All right, thank you for your time. You're excused. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Sharon Ladders to the stand.
All right. Welcome back, Ms. Latners. You're still under oath.
Sit down.
Sure. Yeah, you can go ahead and sit down. You're still under oath from your prior testimony.
Good afternoon.
Before coming to the witness stand, did you have an opportunity to review a CAD report and some 911 calls?
Yes.
Ms. Latners, I'm going to approach you with what's been marked as 1 November, 1 November Delta, and a disc marked that contains, I should say, 1 November Alpha, Bravo, and Echo. And Ms. Latners, just look up at me if you've had opportunity to review that. Ms. Latners, are those the items that you reviewed before coming to testify this afternoon?
Yes.
And what are they?
Copy of the CAD report for February 23rd, 2019, and the 911 calls.
And is there any markings on that 911 disc that you marked on?
Yes, I placed my initials on it.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of the CAD reports and associated 911 calls for that incident?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to tender into evidence 1 November, 1 November Delta, and the disc that has 1 November Alpha, Bravo, and Echo.
All right, those are admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Latners, I'm going to first publish 1 November. Ms. Latners, what is the date for this CAD report?
February 23rd, 2019.
And what did this call come in as?
Came in shots fired.
What was the call type and description when the call was complete?
Person shot.
What was the location for this person shot call on February 23rd, 2019?
50 Mount Zion Road, Southwest, Brandywine Townhouses, Atlanta.
In what zone is that, Ms. Latners?
Zone 3.
Now, what time was this CAD report a officer generated or 911 call?
911 calls.
What time was that call received by APD dispatch?
Call went up to dispatch at 04:37 a.m. hours.
Were officers dispatched at 04:37?
Yes.
Was the call received at 04:36:40?
The call came into 911 at 04:35. 911 sent it over to Zone 3, dispatch at 04:36.
And Ms. Latners, what time were those officers that were dispatched arrive on scene?
It shows 04:42 a.m. hours.
Now, Ms. Latners, I wanted to draw your attention on, you see on page 2 of this CAD report,
Yes.
at the bottom you have unit ID 1394 and it has a code of a LC. Do you see that, Ms. Latners?
At the bottom of page 2,
Yes, ma'am.
1394 is the sergeant for that zone.
And what does that LC indicate?
Location change.
And what is, can you explain to the jury what that time and what that time is and what it reads afterwards?
Unit 1394 advised at 6:10 a.m. hours he arrived at Grady Hospital.
Now, Ms. Latners, if you turn to page 3, do you see the CAD narrative?
Yes.
Can you describe for the jury what that first entry is at 4:35:54 a.m.?
The person advised the 911 call take a shots fired in that area at 50 Mount Zion Road.
And Ms. Latners, if you look 2 lines down at 4:36:40 a.m., what is the remarks indicate following that?
Call advised he heard 10 shots in the area.
Does it say 10 plus shots, Ms. Latners?
Plus shots in the area.
And if you look further down at 4:38 a.m., what does that CAD narrative remark indicate?
Well, it shows the call came from a T-Mobile. Then it says address at 2835 Old Hateville Road, Southwest, and they gave a phone number out, the person who called. It's a duplicate call.
And what is that last line at 4:38 a.m.?
It looked like second rounds of I heard from the hills of the apartments. Did not see anything.
And Ms. Latners, if you turn to page 4, do you see at 4:39 a.m. it starts with male caller?
Yes.
What does that remark section in this CAD narrative indicate for the jury?
Another caller called in, advised male caller David requests to speak with officer at apartment Y Yankee 5. He gave out his phone number.
And beneath that, where it starts at 4:47 a.m., what does that indicate? It starts with unit.
Advised a unit told his dispatcher, advised male inside a blue Charger in passenger side, possible 50 was shot to the head.
So that's possible signal 50 to the head.
Yes.
And is there a related CAD indicated beneath that at 4:48:56 a.m.?
He advised this incident is related to CAD number 190540456.
And Ms. Latners, if you look a couple lines beneath that at 4:54 a.m., that starts with BLU. Do you see that, Ms. Latners?
Yes.
What does that indicate for the jury?
The officer advised the dispatcher blue Dodge Charge gave out the tag number, temporary tag number 245400289, which is a paper tag.
And Ms. Latners, what is immediately beneath that 1 minute later at 4:55 a.m.?
He advised his dispatcher possible vehicle, possible code 19, which is a stolen vehicle out of Cobb County.
And Ms. Latners, at 5:07 a.m., do you see the CAD remark that starts with unit ADV?
Unit advised shell cases near building X-ray.
And Ms. Latners, what at the very bottom, or a couple lines from the bottom, at 6:10 a.m., it has unit advise. Do you see that?
Yes, unit advised the victim is 48, which means a person is dead at 06:09 a.m. hours.
Now, Ms. Latners, is some of the 911 recordings that are on that disc pertain to this CAD report ending in 454 from February 23rd, 2019?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state is going to publish one November Alpha.
All right.
Are you ready? Just one. Atlanta 911 operator 7198. What is the address of the emergency? I live in an apartment called, they used to call it the Wood, but they call it the Crystals now. And the address is at 50 Mount Tanya Road, Southwest. Someone out here shooting, about 10 shots. Okay, do you want to speak with an officer? Yes, ma'am. You do? No, ma'am. Can you have someone just come out here? Okay, we will. Thank you. Hmm? We will. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
Ms. Latners, Your Honor, the state is going to publish one November Bravo at this time.
Thank you.
Atlanta 911 operator 7357. What's the address to the emergency? This is Atlanta.
Hello?
This is 911. What is the address to your emergency?
The address is 50 Mount Tanya Road, Southwest. Apartment Y5.
I can't. Apartment 15?
Y5.
Y5. Do you need fire, police, or ambulance?
Police.
What is your name?
David Goodman.
David, what's your phone number?
Your Honor, I'm just briefly muting the phone number.
That's fine.
.446.
Is there a gate code, sir?
No gate code.
No gate code. Okay. All right. Let's see. And what's the name of the apartment, sir?
Crystal Apartments.
You said Crystal Apartments?
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on out there, sir?
I just heard a bunch of shooting. I'm not sure if it was aimed at my apartment, but it sounded like it was aimed over here at our apartment.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Did you call already, sir? Because it's showing that we did get calls in reference to this.
No, this is my first time calling.
Okay, yes, sir. We did get a call about, do you want to speak to the police when they come out?
Yeah.
Okay. And let me confirm, you said you are in Y 5, correct?
Yes.
All right, we'll get help out to you, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Ms. Knight. And Your Honor, the state's going to publish 1 November Delta.
All right.
Ms. Latner's is 1 November Delta the CAD report that was related to the first CAD report we discussed with the jury?
Yes.
And what are the last three on this incident number for this CAD?
0456.
Did this come before or after the first CAD report we discussed?
After.
What is the location for this CAD?
It's advised Oak Drive and Pennington Circus Southwest.
And what was the call type and description?
Shot fired.
Is it the same zone?
Yes.
And was this a 911 call or officer generated?
911 call.
What time did this 911 call come in?
0436 a.m. hours.
And what time did officers arrive?
0457 a.m. hours.
Ms. Latner's turning to page 2. Do you see the CAD narrative remarks?
It advised multiple shots fired in the area, no further.
And then is that last line at 4:48:56 a.m. reference the first CAD we discussed?
Yes.
And Ms. Latner's at the very top or near the top on the front page. What is the disposition for this CAD report?
Code 12.
Is that an investigation?
Yes, it is.
Was there also a 911 call that corresponded with this CAD report, Ms. Latner's?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state is going to publish 1 November echo at this time.
All right.
Atlanta 911 37087. What is the address?
I believe it's a shooting.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you, ma'am. It sounds like you're whispering.
Yeah, because it just woke me up. There's a shooting going on in my neighborhood, and it sounds like it's coming from Oak Drive.
Oak Drive and what other cross street?
Pennington, Old Hateville.
All right, how many shots did you hear?
It was a round, and then it sounded like it was another gun that was weaker than the first round, that about 5-7 shots, and then there was a second gun that was going off, and that was about 3 or 4.
Okay, did you hear anything else besides the shots being fired? Any vehicles speeding away? Anyone yelling?
No, just the shots.
Okay, we'll get someone out there to check the area.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Stop at 1 minute and 21 seconds. No further questions from the state, Ms. Latin. Thank you.
Any defense questioning?
Good afternoon, Ms. Latners. I'm Attorney Dee Williams. I'm going to be very brief because I know you want to go.
Yes.
So looking at the CAD report, do officers have access to the contact information of 911 callers?
Say that again.
Looking at the CAD reports, do officers have access to the contact of the 911 callers?
Most of the time, officer want to talk to the caller, he would ask his dispatcher to call the caller back.
And do all the 911 calls go over the radio or just to dispatch?
The 911 calls goes to dispatch. Dispatch the officer out.
Okay.
2 different sections.
2 different ones? Okay. Thank you. And then upon the request from the DA's office, your office turned over all the records regarding this incident?
Yes.
And all calls that require an officer on scene, are they entered into a CAD report?
Say that again.
All calls that require, I guess, are dispatched to a scene, are they entered into a CAD report?
The 911 call creates the CAD report for calls to come through 911. If an officer pulled out on a call, their dispatcher will create a CAD report for them.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ms. Latners.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Oh, help me.
All right, let's not comment on the various attorneys.
Hello. How long do 911 calls preserve?
Well, since Atlanta take over 1 million calls a year, our system can only hold so much, so the system purge out the 911 calls itself. We don't purge it out. The system does that.
How long does it, when you say purge, you're saying call on January 1, 2015, let's say, January 11th, 12:04 a.m. January 11th, 2015, 12:04 a.m. How long will that call last?
We should hold the call. 911 should hold the audio for at least 3 to 4 years.
3 or 4 years?
Years.
So in my January 11th, 12:04 a.m.
What year?
2015.
We will not have.
We're going up to approximately 2019,
We'll have 2019.
and then it's gone.
2015, we don't even have that system anymore.
Thank you. Your Honor, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, any redirect?
Your Honor, one question. Ms. Latners, would CAD reports and 911 audios, are they subject to FOIA request?
Are they subject to what?
To Freedom of Information Act request?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All righty, any recross?
Do you know whether Mr. Jeffrey Williams was arrested on May 9th, 2022 in this case?
I can't answer that.
Do you know whether May 9th, 2022 is after January 11th, 2019?
I can't answer that.
Yes, you can. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you are excused.
I can leave.
You can leave. No idea whether they'll have you back again or not, but call your next witness. Yeah. Last name, right? Last name?
Yes.
We ready? Yes. Thank you. I can't see what's on that screen, so thanks. We're ready. Thank you.
Raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Let's see. You state your first initial
Okay.
and your last name, and spell your last name. Okay? Into that mic.
My first initial start with an M. My last name is Smith.
Say, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you tell the jurors how old you are?
I'm 23.
And can you tell the jurors, did you grow up in the Atlanta area?
Yes.
And where did you go to high school?
I went to Forest Hill and Maynard.
Okay. And back in February of 2019, can you tell the jurors where you were working?
McDonald's on Moreland.
Okay. And what were your hours or the shift that you typically worked?
3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay. And I want to ask you a few questions about people you may know or may have known back in February of 2019, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the jurors, do you know someone by the name of Miss Tahira Hartfield?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how do you know her?
I grew up with her. I went to school with her. She was a friend back then.
Okay. And are you guys the same age?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And you said you grew up with her, you went to school with her. How many years would you say that you knew her?
From like the 5th grade to probably up to that time.
Okay. So 5th grade up until at least February of 2019?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta say yes for the record?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors, did you call her by her first name or did she have a nickname?
I mean, she had a nickname, but I call her by both.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors the times that you called her by her nickname, what was it?
Brazy.
Okay.
But I rarely called her that because I don't know her by that.
Okay. Did other people, when you guys were hanging out with your other friends, call her by that nickname?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, did you have an Instagram back in 2019?
Yes, I did.
And did Miss Hartsfield, did she have one?
Yes.
Okay. And were you friends with her on Instagram? Were you familiar with her Instagram account?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to show you. I'm sorry about that. I want you to look at State's Exhibit 21 and 22N. Okay?
Yes.
And by looking at those, can you tell me, do you recognize what's depicted in State's Exhibits 21NN and 22NN?
Yes.
Okay, and let's talk about first 21NN. What is State's Exhibit 21NN a picture of?
Tahira Hartfield.
Okay, and is that her Instagram account that she had back in February of 2019?
Yes, sir.
And in 22NN, can you tell the jurors, do you recognize that one?
Yes.
And how do you recognize the picture in 22NN?
This me.
It's you?
Yes.
And is it your Instagram account back in February of 2019?
Yes.
Okay, and does both 21NN and 22NN represent the Instagram account for your friend Miss Hartsfield as well as yourself back in February of 2019.
Yes.
At this time, the state would tender what's been marked as States Exhibits 21NN and 22NN.
M or N?
N, I'm sorry.
All right, Nancy. Those are admitted.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors, back in February of 2019, did you know anyone by the nickname Little Rod?
Yes.
Okay, tell the jurors, how did you know Little Rod?
I met him through Tahira.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, do you know Little Rod's real name?
No.
Okay, did you always call him Little Rod?
Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, did you know somebody by the nickname of Bally?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors, how did you know the male whose nickname was Bally?
I was introduced by Tahira through both of them. I met them through her.
Okay. And do you remember, if we're talking about in relation to the shooting in February of 2019, how long, I guess, had you known the males with the nickname Bally and Little Rod?
I had just met them within that same month.
Within that same month?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, the male that you knew as the nickname Bally, did you know his real name?
Demond. But I'm learned it from the stuff
Okay.
that's going on now. Yeah.
Okay. So did you know his last name back in 2019?
No.
Okay. So you just knew him by his nickname as Bally.
Yeah. I met them through her, so I didn't know them personally.
Okay. And you said you met him in the same month. Can you tell the jurors within that month how many times had you hung out with Bally and Lil Rod?
I mean, that first day I seen them, from that day, the second day, we was going over there to Blaylock them house every night. It was never a dull moment. We was having fun. So when that situation occurred, it was just came out of nowhere.
Okay. And you said you would go to whose house and hang out and have
Blaylock.
fun and chill?
Blaylock.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors how many times do you think that you went to Blaylock's or
I'm not
Bally's
sure.
house?
I'm not sure.
Okay. More than once?
Yeah, it was more than one.
Okay. And did you ever have an opportunity to go to the person you knew by the name of Lil Rod?
I mean, we all just used to be right there at Blaylock house.
Okay. And do you remember, I know it's been some time, where or what general area that Blaylock's house was?
I just knew it was on Cleveland. I'm not familiar with over there because I don't hang over there. I just went to school over there. I was introduced to over there by them. I don't hang over there. I don't know nothing about Cleveland for real.
Okay. And you said off of Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the times that you spent with Lil Rod and Bally, can you tell the jurors in your interactions with them, did they tell you they were in a gang?
I mean, I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you remember the detectives after this incident asking you if you knew if Lil Rod and Bally were in a gang?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you remember telling the detectives that both Lil Rod and Bally were members of the YSL gang?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's talk about some other people that you may have known back in 2019. Did you know a male named BJ?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know his real name?
Bernard.
Okay. And how did you meet Bernard, or the person whose nickname was BJ?
I was long time friends with him. He used to come over my house and stuff. We grew up in the same neighborhood.
Okay. Was he friends with Miss Brazy?
I mean, I really don't know. I could just only speak for me, but we all was around each other one time, yeah.
Okay. So I guess a better question is, did you and Miss Brazy and Mr. BJ, did you guys all hang out fairly often?
She didn't used to be with us, but when I used to hang with him, I used to see him in apartments and stuff like that. It was hay and buy situation.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors, back on February 23rd of 2019, did you work that day?
Yeah.
On the night of the shooting?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you work your regular shift, or the hours that you talked about today, 3 to 11 p.m.?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors, after your shift at McDonald's was over, what did you do next?
I went home, took a shower, and I was there, like, really the whole house was asleep. My mom, she was up and out. Like, my sister, she was downstairs asleep. Everybody kept really telling me not to go out the door and go out the house with her that night. But me, I just wanted to be hard-headed, go with my friend, have fun. I went with my friend, and that's what went down.
Okay. And when you say go out of the house with her, who are you referring to?
I was with her, and we got in the car with Lil Rod.
So who's her?
Brazy, Tahira.
And so when you got home from work, was Brazy already at your house?
Yeah,
Okay. Can you tell the jurors why was she at your house?
because she was homeless, and she was already, like, asking me could she stay there and stuff. But my mama had already been telling me, like, she had to go prior to that because I guess she was doing stuff or giving them little signs when I was at work about what was going to go on and stuff like that. So my mom told me she had to go. But she was staying with me.
Okay. And you said you guys were leaving the house. Who picked you up?
Lil Rod.
And can you tell the jurors, if you got off from work around 11, you went home, what time would you say you left your house that you lived with your mom and Miss Brazy?
I can't really remember what time we left.
Okay. Do you think you, after you got home from work, that you were home for an hour or 2 hours or longer?
Probably like an hour or two.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, do you remember what kind of car Lil Rob picked you up in?
Yes, it was a van.
It was a van?
Yes.
Remember what color?
No, I don't.
Okay. And I should have asked you this earlier, so I apologize. The people you're referring to as Little Rod and Bally, were they, do you know if they were around your same age?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you go to school with either one of them?
I'm not sure. I was introduced to them by her. Like, I didn't know them like that.
Okay. When you say her, who are you referring to?
Tahira.
Okay. Now, after Lil Rod picked you guys up, can you tell the jurors, where did you go next?
I can't really remember.
Okay. What was the plans that night after you were leaving your mom's house?
I know, okay, we pulled up to Bally House. We got out the car. We went in the house and stuff like that. We in the house. I was talking to Blaylock then. Boom. After that, we went downstairs, played the game. I dozed off. In the midst of me dozed off, I hear Tahira on the phone saying, pull up, we finna do one. Do one mean fuck.
Okay. Well, let's not tell me what anybody said. So you talk faster than any of us in the courtroom, okay? So let's just back up just a second. So you keep saying Blaylock and Bally. Is that the same person?
No.
Okay. So
yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. So the person you know is Bally is his real name or the name he was given at birth. His last name Blaylock. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now you said that y'all went from your house when Little Rob picked you up. You went to Bally's house. Is that what you said? Yes.
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors, do you remember, I guess, where the general area where Mr. Bally's house was?
I just knew it was some apartments. I don't remember, but I kind of do. Like, if I go there, I remember, but I don't really remember.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors, do you know or do you remember, you talked earlier about where you knew that Little Rod's house where he lived was off Cleveland. Do you know if the apartments you just described where Bally lived was close to the Cleveland house that you described where Lil Rod lives?
Yeah, they stay across the street from each other.
Okay. Now, when you got to Bally's house, was it still just you, Miss Brazy, Lil Rod, and Bally? Was anybody else there?
I'm not sure. I just knew it was us four, though.
Okay. And you said once you got there, you dozed off?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah, I went to sleep, and after that, I heard, like,
Well,
I hear her.
don't tell me what anyone said.
I heard her in the background, boom. After that, I heard what she said. I got up. In the midst of me getting up, Blaylock attacked me. I went out the door. I see a Dodge blue Charger pulling up. Next thing you know, I went to the car because BJ rolled down his window. And he was like, Mariah, where they at? Whoop, whoop. He was asking me where somebody was. Boom. After that, me and him was talking about going to do, like, get some weed or whatever. Boom. After that.
Hold on one second. Ms. Smith. So
Yes.
you said there was a conversation. Was Miss Brazy, was she talking to somebody in the room or was she talking on the phone?
She was never outside with me.
No.
When I went out the door.
When you.
Oh, she was over the phone. Yes, she was over the phone.
The conversation that woke you up was with Miss Brazy on the phone with, was it a male or a female?
I'm not really sure. I don't know.
And you said then you went outside and there was a blue Charger?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. And when you got outside, did you know anyone did you know a blue Charger was gonna pull up?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And when you got outside and the blue Charger was there, did you recognize anyone inside the Charger?
Only BJ.
Okay. And was it just BJ in the car, or were there other people in the car?
It was 2 other people in the car, but I didn't know them.
Okay.
Never seen them.
Okay. Was this the first time you met him?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
And do you ever get into the car?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, once you got into the car, did you get introduced to, you said there was 2 other people in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
I mean, I can't really remember. I don't know. I just know we was all in the car.
Okay.
And we drove to the other side.
Was BJ driving? Was he in the passenger seat?
BJ was driving.
Okay. And do you know who was in the front seat when you got in?
And Jamari.
Okay. And who was seated in the back seat with you?
Brazy was by the door. I was in the middle, and little boy Red was on the other side.
Okay. So let's talk about that. So you said that you went outside and you met BJ and the people you met that night as Jamari and Red.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the jurors, when does Brazy enter into the picture? When does she come outside?
She came outside when I got in the car.
Okay. And did she also get into the car?
Yes, she did.
Okay. Where in the car did she sit?
She sat by the door. I was in the middle.
Okay. So was she in the back with you?
Yes.
Okay. And so can you tell the jurors, when everyone's in the car, where are you guys going next?
I guess we was going to get weed.
Okay.
After that, we pulled over there, whatever she led them to, some apartments I never been in. I'm sitting in the car for a little minute. Next thing you know, she get out the car. She leaves. She come back and get me as soon as I got the car.
Hold on, before we get there. So how far did you go from where BJ in the blue Charger picked you up and took you to buy some weed? How far was that trip?
I mean, it was across the street, literally across the street.
And I think I heard you say that Ms. Brazy directed BJ where to go?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And when you guys got there, do you remember inside the car, did you or anybody else give anyone any money to purchase marijuana?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay. And so once you get there, can you tell the jurors, do you all go inside to an apartment or?
No, she get out the car first. Then next thing you know, she come back and get me out the car, and the car just got shot up all of a sudden. But when we get out the car and we started running, I seen Blaylock and Leroy running towards the car, like literally shooting the car. I saw them.
Okay. And had you ever been, you said this was an apartment complex, had you ever been there before?
Never.
Okay. And I want to show you what's been marked. That's State's Exhibit 10, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy, through 19, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy. let's start with states exhibits 10, 11, and 12, and N, okay? Do you recognize those?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how do you recognize them?
Because this were right here on this thing. I can't really.
Well, don't show us.
Okay.
You can show it to Mr. Abbasi, who's questioning you. Just don't show it to the jury.
Yes, ma'am. I remember this right here because this where we was parked at. This the breezeway I ran down to go in the back with Tahira. We was in the bushes, hiding right here, until Lorette came to get us. She led us through a cut. We got in the car with him. They took me back to Blaylock House.
Let me ask you this question. In states exhibits 10, NN through 13, NN, do those pictures fairly and accurately depict the apartment complex that you've described where you guys stopped to buy marijuana?
Yes.
Okay. And at this time around, the state would tender what's been marked as states exhibits 10 through 13, NN.
Those are admitted.
Okay. Now, I want to show you states exhibits 13, 14, and 15, and can you tell me, do you recognize what's depicted in those photographs?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you recognize the photographs in states exhibits?
This the car that we was in that pulled up.
Okay. And is that vehicle that's depicted in states exhibits 14 through 16 and fairly and accurately depict the blue Charger that picked you up that night?
Yes.
This time around, the state would tender what's been marked as states exhibits 14 NN through 16 NN.
Those are admitted.
Okay, so you said you did recognize and the vehicle depicted in states exhibits 13, 14, and 15 NN fairly and accurately depict the Charger that picked you up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This time around, the state would tender what's been marked as states exhibits 13 through 15 NN.
14 through 16 or 13 through 15?
I misspoke. It is.
All right, those are admitted. 14 through 16, right?
It's 13 through 15. I apologize.
Okay, so what was, I thought it was 10 through 13 the first time around. Was it only 10 through 12?
I apologize. I
That's
got
okay.
confused this late now. So 10 through 12 NN
Okay.
are the max.
All right.
And then the car is 13 through 15.
Okay, those are all admitted.
Okay. So I want to put up on the screen in front of you here in a second, states exhibit 10 NN, okay?
Okay.
And it's going to pop up right in the computer right in front of you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
While that's being put up, Ms. Smith, could you tell me, so you said you guys parked, the car parked?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Gotta say yes for the record.
Yes.
And how long was Ms. Brazy, how long was she gone from the car when she left to go to the apartment?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, was it a few minutes? Was it an hour?
Probably like a couple of minutes.
Okay, and you said she came back?
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell the jurors, when she came back, why did she come back?
When she came back, she got me out the car. As soon as I got the car car got shot up.
Okay. And while they are pulling that up on the screen, I want to show you State Exhibit 17, 18, and 19. All right, so while that's getting put up there, can you tell me, do you recognize the photographs in State Exhibit 17 and through 19? And can you tell the jurors, how do you recognize those photographs?
Because that's the breezeway we ran down.
Okay. Do those exhibits, the photographs in State Exhibit 17 and through 19 and fairly and accurately depict, I guess, the apartment complex and the breezeway that you said that you guys ran after the shooting started?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would tender what's been marked as 17 and through 19 and.
Is admitted.
All right. Okay. So can you show the jurors, do you see the red line that's in the middle of State's Exhibit 10 NN?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And you see where it starts near the parking spaces?
Yes.
Can you tell the jurors, is that where the car parked, the Charger that you guys were in when you arrived?
I'm not sure what spot, but it was somewhere right there.
Okay, was it in that general area?
Yes.
Okay, and you talked about, I guess, after the shooting started, you saw Lil Rod and Bally, I guess, come running at the car, shooting at the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Can you kind of show the jurors the area which you saw them come running towards the vehicle with guns?
I mean, I really don't remember when I ran through the breezeway. I just knew I seen them.
Okay.
I don't remember.
And and in 18 and can you tell the jurors, is this the breezeway that you're talking about as soon as it comes up? Do you see the breezeway?
Yes.
And is it the area in the middle of State's Exhibit 18 and where there's an opening with stairs?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, you said you ran through that breezeway, and where did you go?
In some bushes with tire.
Okay. And the bushes, in relation to, I guess, the building that we're looking at, where you ran through the breezeway, where is this, I guess, the area with the bushes in the field?
I mean, the bushes was right there, literally, in the back. Like, as soon as we ran through the breezeway, the bushes was right there. It was a field in the bushes.
And in State Exhibit 10 and which will be in front of you in 2 seconds, can you kind of show the jurors, orient them kind of where you ran through the breezeway and past the buildings?
I mean, I'm assuming these the bushes right here.
Well, I don't want you to assume. So can you kind of circle the area or point to the area on the photograph?
You can't see it on the screen?
Oh, I forgot your screen isn't interactive. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk over here, okay? And I want you to tell me where to stop. So if this is the breezeway and you ran through it.
The bushes right there.
These bushes?
Mm-hmm.
So the bushes at the top left-hand corner of State Exhibit 10 NN?
Yes.
Okay. And did you go to those the bushes or the area where the bushes were by yourself?
No, I was with Tahir.
Okay.
I ran in the bushes with her.
And you said you ran towards those bushes because you heard and saw Lil Rod and Bally shooting at the Charger.
Correct.
Can you tell the jurors how many shots did you hear?
I'm not sure.
Okay, did you hear one shot, two shot?
Multiple.
Okay, more than 10?
I'm not sure. I just know I heard shots.
Okay. And how long did you guys kind of, I guess, wait or stay in the bushes?
Not for long. Like, after it happened, she led me through a cut with her, and we got in the car.
Okay. And prior to kind of going, I guess, through the cut into the car you just talked about, can you tell the jurors, as the shots are being fired at the Charger, who's inside of it?
BJ, Jamari, and Red.
Okay. And as the shots are kind of ringing out and being fired towards the car, can you tell the jurors, do you see the Charger that BJ, Jamari, and the person you knew as Red were in? Does it stay there or does it move?
It stopped. The car stopped, and only 2 people got out.
Okay. And when you say it stopped, how far did it get from the area you described where you guys had parked?
I'm not really sure. I just know I seen the car after.
Okay.
When we was in the bushes and stuff.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, when you saw the car after when you guys were in the bushes, do you see anybody get out of the car?
Only 2 people.
Okay. And do you, at the time the 2 people get out of the car, do you know who it is?
BJ and Red.
Okay. And
I didn't know at that time, but now I know.
Okay. So at that time you only knew 2 people got out of the car.
I never knew who they was, though.
Okay. And you said you guys were in the bushes for a little while, and then you said your friend, Miss Brazy, she led you through a cut?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
And how far, I guess, from the bushes, or how long does it take you to get from the bushes and through the cut to the car?
I'm not sure.
Okay, was it a long walk?
I mean, I really can't remember like that. It's been so long.
Okay. And once you said, how did the car know, I guess, where to pick you up?
I don't know. I was following her.
Okay. And who was driving the car?
Lil Rod.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, was it the same car that Lil Rod had picked you up in earlier that night from your house?
Yes.
Okay. And once you got in the car, who was in it?
Just Lil Rod, me, and Tahir. That's it.
Okay. And where did you, Lil Rod, Miss Brazy, and you, where did y'all go next?
They took me back to Blaylock house.
Okay.
And we was there. They left, locked me in the basement, and went back to the scene.
Okay. And you said they locked you in the basement. Why did they lock you in the basement?
I don't know.
Okay. How long were they gone?
I mean, I'll say like 30 minutes at the most, because the mom came in. She was screaming and stuff. It's like she knew what was going on. And she locked me back inside the basement. After that.
Whose mom?
Blaylock.
Okay. And did you tell her what happened?
No.
Why not?
I mean, she was in a rage. She was looking for her son.
Okay. And did the time that you, I guess, are locked in the basement, did you have a phone?
Yes, I found like a little phone in there. I called my mom. I called her 2 times, but she never told me that no police was at her house right then. After that, I called my grandma. My grandma told me to call my mama back. I called my mama. My mama yelling and screaming, homicide at her door at this point. I tell my mom where I'm at. At this point, I'm scared. I really don't know what to do. I didn't tell them that I talked to my mom when they came back. They just kept telling me that we was going to the basketball court. They come back. I played like I ain't talked to nobody or nothing. We all get ready to go out the house. The police pull up. Everybody take out running except me.
Okay. Now, you said you found a phone in the basement to use. Did you have a phone that night? Your own phone?
No, I didn't have no phone. No.
Where was it?
I mean, I didn't have my particular phone on me. I don't even think I had a phone.
Okay.
At that moment.
And when you got back to Valley's house, and before they leave you in the basement, is Valley and Little Rod, is there any conversation about what just happened?
Yeah. Like, they was getting calls from people people was telling them about.
Speculation, hearsay.
And let me I'll ask a more direct question, okay? So, and I should ask you this first. So, when you guys get to Bally's house, is he already there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you three go back, I guess, you, Miss Brazy, and Lil Rod, you all go down to the basement. Is that where Bally is? Yes? Okay, so I just want to ask you these direct questions. So what do you hear Little Rod and Bally discussing about what happened with the shooting?
I mean, I really don't know what to say because they keep saying objection every time I say something, so I really don't know.
All right, I get it.
You don't worry about what they say. Just stop, and then if he asks you another question, unless you hear objection again, go ahead and answer.
Okay.
But just tell me what Bally and Lil Rod said. Don't tell me what anybody else said, okay?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I really don't know.
Do they say, well, let me ask you this. Are they talking about the shooting of the Charger?
Yes.
Okay, what do they say?
I mean, I just hear Blaylock saying, "Oh man, I ain't know that was him." This and the third.
Okay, and does Lil Rod say anything?
I'm not sure.
Okay, and as they continue to talk, would you say they're kind of bragging about the shooting?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And then, how long? I guess you guys. Let me back up. You said you're going when they get back. You said you go to a basketball court.
We didn't never make it there
Okay. And why didn't you ever make it there?
because the police came.
Okay. And you said when the police came, everybody else ran.
Yes.
Okay. And do you go with the police
Yes.
anywhere from, I guess, the area where the basketball court is?
Yes, I went with them.
All right. And where do you go?
Down to homicide investigation.
Okay. And do you remember, do you speak with a Detective Hogan and a Detective Casey?
Yes.
Okay. And when you, I guess, are talking with Detective Hogan and Detective Casey, does your sister, I guess, come down to APD
Yes.
headquarters?
Yes, she did.
And when you first begin to talk with Detective Hogan and Detective Casey, is it just you and the two of them in the room?
I'm not really sure.
Okay. And tell me this: when you initially start, I guess, answering the questions that the detectives have for you, can you tell the jury? Are you honest? Do you tell them the truth about what happened that night?
I mean, at first I was kind of shook up. I kind of lied a couple of times, but when my sister came in there, I felt more comfortable and told the truth.
Okay. And do you, I guess, kind of tell them a series of stories and lies about what you knew happened with the shooting of Jamari?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And why do you tell them several different stories or different lies as they're questioning you?
Because I was scared.
Objection. Self-serving.
Response.
Self-serving what?
Overruled. You can answer. You can answer.
Could you ask me again?
So why don't you tell them the truth as they continue to ask you questions?
Because I was scared. I was feared. I never been in nothing like that. I don't even get in trouble. I don't even have a record. So.
What were you scared of?
I mean, life. Okay. Things go on.
Now, you said your sister, they let your sister eventually come in the room with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when she comes into the room, can you tell the jurors, I guess, why do you feel, or do you begin to tell them what you told the jury that you saw Bally and Lil Rod do to your friends inside the blue Charger?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what about your sister being in the room, I guess, makes you feel more comfortable to tell the truth?
Yes.
What about her being in the room?
I mean, I felt uncomfortable
Okay. Why?
because that's my sister. She was there with me.
Okay. Now, do you remember during the speaking with the detectives, are you able to give them like the Instagram names or usernames for Little Rod and Bally?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to show you, do you, I guess, do you look up Little Rod's Instagram and give them pictures
Yes.
or show them pictures? Okay. Let's see. So I want to show you in States Exhibits 23NN and 24NN. Do you recognize those photographs?
Yes.
And how do you recognize those?
Because that's Lil Rod.
Okay. And are those the photos of Little Rod that you showed and sent to the detectives on February 23rd of 2019?
Yes.
And do those photographs fairly and accurately depict or are copies of the photos that you showed and gave both Detective Hogan and Detective Tracy?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would tender what's been marked as States Exhibits 23 and 24, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy.
Those are admitted.
All right, so I want to publish those photos. Now, in States Exhibit 23, is this how you, I guess, how Little Rod looked back in February of 2019?
Yes. I'm not sure if that's how he looked, but that was a picture of him.
Okay. And is that the same with States Exhibit 24, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see in both of those photos, the person you've described as Little Rod is holding a gun?
Yes.
And does that, can you tell the jurors the guns that you see in either one of those photos, does it look similar to the gun that you saw Little Rod with on?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar what type of guns they had.
Okay. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about, we just talked about the guns. Can you describe to the jurors, do you remember telling the detectives or describing for the detectives I guess, the type of guns or the size of the guns that you saw that night?
I'm not sure.
Okay, do you remember describing?
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Sustained.
Well, during that interview on February 23rd of 2019, do you remember describing, I guess, the length of one of the guns that you saw Little Rod with?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm not sure.
Okay, overruled.
You can answer.
You can answer.
I'm not sure.
Okay. When you say you're not sure, do you not remember?
No, I don't.
Okay. So you don't remember describing for Detective Hogan and Detective Tracy that you saw Little Rod with a long gun?
I probably did. It's been so long. I don't know. I'm not sure for real.
And do you remember specifically talking about the statements that you heard Little Rod and Bally saying after they got back to, or after y'all got to Bally's house? Do you remember telling the detectives about that?
Objection, leading.
I'm not sure.
Overruled.
I'm not sure.
Okay. When you say you're not sure, do you not remember telling the specific statements that you heard Little Rod and Bally talking about at Bally's house to the detectives on February 23rd of 2019 during that interview?
I don't remember.
So do you don't remember telling Detective Hogan and Detective Tracy that you heard Little Rod say, "We really just popped them N-words"? Do you remember?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then Bally, you heard Bally say, "Hell yeah, one."
I'd ask for a limiting instruction. This is not going B2E. This is spilling beans. I would object. Anything used against Mr. Wood.
I don't know what the full thing is going to be.
I mean, I don't object to I guess the limiting instruction we've been giving as it relates to any statements previously made by any previous co-defendants.
I don't think that was exactly his objection. Y'all come up to the bench real fast for me.
Put me in there. Okay.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Abadi.
Thank you, Judge. Now, Ms. Smith, we think we left off. Do you remember talking to and telling the detectives that you had then heard Bally, the person you've called Bally or Blaylock, say, "Hell yeah, one of them N-words dead twin"?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I want to show you State's Exhibit 20. N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy. And do you recognize the photograph depicted in 20NN?
Yes.
And how do you recognize that photo?
There was a little boy that was shot in the car.
Okay. And does it fairly and accurately depict the person you met that night as Jamari in that photograph?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state would tender what's remarked as State's Exhibit, what did I say, 22NN? I think it's 20NN, I'm sorry.
20 NN, it's admitted.
Now, Ms.
Threats. People went to my sister's job. It was just a lot of stuff that happened pertaining to this situation.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. I don't have any further questions.
All right, are there any defense questions for this witness?
recognize that photo?
There was a little boy that was shot in the car.
Okay. And does it fairly and accurately depict the person you met that night as Jamari in that photograph?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state would tender what's remarked as State's Exhibit, what did I say, 22NN? I think it's 20NN, I'm sorry.
20 NN, it's admitted.
Now, Ms. Smith, can you tell the jurors, did you set up BJ, Jamari, and Red to be shot that night?
No.
Okay. Did you know that Bally and Little Rod were going to come running out, shooting at the Charger with BJ, Jamari, and Red?
No.
After all of this happened, Ms. Smith, can you tell the jurors, did you fear for your life after this?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me why.
Because my mama's house got shot up multiple times. I was working, I was receiving threats. People went to my sister's job. It was just a lot of stuff that happened pertaining to this situation.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. I don't have any further questions.
All right, are there any defense questions for this witness? No, we need to go ahead and get moving on this, so it's time.
Good afternoon. I'm attorney Angela D. Williams, and I represent Rodalius Ryan. And I'm going to talk to you about what you testified to at the trial in September 2021. Do you remember testifying?
I kind of don't.
You don't remember?
No, I don't.
That's fine. Do you know how to read?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right. Tomorrow as well. I think it was just going to take too long to get through it all today. So sorry about that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're excused. Yeah. y'all with your same instructions as always. And Ms. Smith, I'm sorry to have to make you come back tomorrow, but we're going to need you back here at 9 tomorrow as well. I think it was just going to take too long to get through it all today. So sorry about that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're excused. Yep. So the issue on the floor had been Ms. D. Williams' reference to a trial and how that needs to get handled. And I had asked at the bench, was the state intending to ultimately tender Mr. Ryan's conviction at trial for this murder? Because if that's the case, then they're going to know there was a trial. And otherwise, and if so, we need the limiting instructions still. And if not, then we need to figure out how we're going to refer to, if testimony is going to get used, how to refer to it.
Prior proceeding.
Right. And that would certainly work. So what's the state's intention with regard to whether you're introducing the conviction?
The state intends to do so, Your Honor, but I obviously wasn't going to mention it or do so until
Sorry, I can't hear.
Basically, yes, is the answer.
Yes.
All right, then we need the limiting instruction, and we're going to need that probably, before tomorrow.
Yes.
And, yes, sir.
Your Honor, and I'm not trying to step over Ms. D. Williams' case. From my perspective, I'm not sure under what legal theory the conviction would be entered. Mr. Ryan is, to my knowledge, unless he testifies, it wouldn't be for impeachment. The legal determination by another jury, I don't understand the relevance. I mean, this jury needs to make a decision, and this is listed as an overt act, to my understanding, in this indictment. So we're inviting the jury to know that a separate jury made a factual determination on one of the overt acts, and I view that as problematic.
Well, I think that, as to Mr. Ryan, that's evidence against him, and he's frankly already been confronted with it. The issue is with regard to anybody else.
Well, from my perspective, and I understand what you're saying, Your Honor, but why would we're hearing from witnesses in court.
I mean, I guess in the same way that some other co-defendants' guilty pleas have come in.
But those would be admissions. This is not an admission. This is just a determination by a separate jury, which I don't believe that's not evidence as I understand it.
What's the state's response?
So instead of just giving you an off-the-cuff answer, I'd like to do some.
All right, so we're going to have to arrive really early in the morning because these are some pretty critical issues that I have raised over and over with y'all that we were going to have to deal with this when it came to Mr. Ryan's conviction, and I think Mr. Kendrick might have a plea or something as well. So I don't want to wait till first thing in the morning for them. But of course, that seems to be the way we do a lot of the things we do in this case, off the cuff. To get something to everybody as soon as possible, including potential limiters. All right, where are we on the Wooney Lee evidence? Since I assume he's going to get reached sooner rather than later this week as well, right?
Your Honor, I had sent out a document we received from the state which had the compilation of everything they originally submitted that they wanted to offer into evidence with Mr. Wooney Lee. I think the state has possibly gone through and eliminated some pages, but they've not finished doing that as of earlier. So if they want to specify which pages, then we can raise our objections. It was a document I sent earlier, 31 pages.
So, Your Honor, I have, and he's going to be testifying in this trial. And so, unlike the Blaylock Instagram that we hashed out before putting up this act, the predicates for introducing his Instagram, for the most part, there is a couple that I do believe are co-conspirator statements. He's also testifying that they would be via impeachment in terms of the right predicate questions. And so when what this PDF that defense counsel and the state are working off of is items that the state had identified, I think back in August, or when we made this larger co-conspirator statement of party opponent Dropbox link that we shared with all counsel. And so that what I am doing is, as the state continues to do, looking at what the state had organized as potential either co-conspirator statements or items that would address in Instagram with this witness, the universe of items that need to be pre-litigated, so to speak, in terms of these are group threads, messages that he makes to other parties. So what me and Ms. Abbasi were doing was just, I was going through them, giving courts previous rulings and thinking through the efficiency of this witness and what the state wants to use. And so,
might we reach him tomorrow?
We could reach him tomorrow, Your Honor. I think it's most likely to reach him Wednesday.
Okay.
But we could reach him tomorrow.
So then our lunch will be spent at least partly hashing out whatever y'all don't sort out.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay.
And I do think one key thing with this witness is pre-hashing out. It's essentially what questions the state can ask is kind of predicated on these items, because the state, other than just a small few, can't introduce any of these Instagrams unless we ask the question. So, for example, some of these are firearms. If we asked this witness a question about, has he ever possessed firearms, ever sold firearms to other YSL members? I'm using hypotheticals for purposes of this. The court may let us ask one of those questions. He may agree. We can never get these in. The court and the state would not intend to ask him repetitive questions on that. And so I highlight that in terms of this evidence for him is just like, for example, if he said something contradictory on the stand, the state could use as impeachment purposes a wide range of items.
Right.
So I just highlight that for the court in terms of the efficacy of going through his specific Instagram before he testifies.
If y'all end up concluding that this is just kind of normal trial evidence, that if it comes in for impeachment because he needs to get impeached, then it comes in just like anything else. That's fine. If it's stuff that we're going to have to litigate other issues about, even if it does come in, then obviously I'll need to know that.
Yes, Your Honor.
So y'all need to be thinking about and working on that before
just-
lunchtime tomorrow.
I just need to know which ones the state actually
Well,
intends
y'all
on.
can get together on that. Okay, so witnesses, and I know we haven't gone through all of the Monday witnesses, but witnesses 3 and 4, you now intend to call both of those people, or no? Or is that just still an either or? It was an either or before. You don't know?
It's like, yes.
Your Honor, it was an either or before. Depending on how these witnesses testify, the state may need to call both of them. And so,
Okay.
out of an abundance of caution, they are both
right.
included there.
And then ADA Hiles, is he like taking the place of some other witness? 'Cause
Yes,
I
Your
didn't
Honor.
see him on this list before.
So, Your Honor, he testified in the initial trial specifically about.
Mr. Ryan's trial?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
And so there's trial transcripts. He actually testified at the motion for new trial as well. And so when defense counsel and I, and by defense counsel I mean Ms. D. Williams, Ms. Sabasi, and myself, given the guardrails, so to speak, of his testimony is well lined out, he's essentially describing these Instagram records that both.
All right.
So that witness is replacing what initially on that list was going to be either investigator Viv Rita or Sprinkle for the Jamari Holmes murder.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And just FYI for the media, it is okay to show that witness whenever he takes the stand. Hiles. All right. And can I also just ask, as long as we're talking about scheduling, I know y'all are going to circle back on your big order of proof and exhibits list to Mr. Arnold at some point, and y'all have indicated the date. Other than him, is there any other witness in the first 50 that the state still intends to call? Are we through with those acts and counts and what have you? How about if y'all just take a look at that tonight and let me know in the morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Because it appears to me that we're through most of 1 through 50, like I said, other than Arnold, but they're, just let me know. Okay. All right. I think we need to be here at 8:30 in the morning. And that probably is, we're still, I mean, I'll see whether we end up starting at 9 or not. Hopefully we can, if y'all can get me things.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. See everybody at 8:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.